Tonight's episode of the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is brought to you in part by 25cab.com. Are you sick and tired of Uber taking advantage of its drivers? Do you want to actually be your own boss, set your own price, and your own rideshare business? Well, 25cab.com is the answer. If you're sick and tired of Uber robbing drivers, and you think drivers deserve to keep 100% of their fares, then join the revolution right now at 25cab.com. Once again, 25cab.com. Hey guys, Lee Sanders here. This portion of the RCWR Show is brought to you in part by Captain Dark, who you can give a follow on Twitch right now. Twitch.tv/Captain Dark. He's generally streaming Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. Whether or not that's Eastern or Pacific, you're going to have to go on his Twitch page and get that info. He's playing all of the hottest video games that is out there. If it's got you talking, he's definitely talking about it on his Twitch channel. Whether it is an independent video game or maybe it is a hidden gem of a video game. If it's got you talking about it, he's definitely gonna not only be talking about that game, he's gonna be playing it as well. So check him out Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. over on twitch.tv/Captain Dark. One more time, twitch.tv/Captain Dark.
Yo, it's your boy JTG, aka the author of Damn Why'd I Write This Book, and you are listening to RCWR Show.
Yo, everyone, what's up? Lee here. Okay, so you guys are getting ready to hear on demand and on the downloads an episode of the RCWR Show that was live the night after Raw had concluded, as for one night only. The show had came on immediately after Raw went off the air, pretty much following up on the Royal Rumble aftermath. I think you guys will thoroughly enjoy this episode. Now, for those of you that maybe did not get a chance to check it out exclusively on the YouTube channel, I did react to the news of Dean Ambrose getting ready to part ways with the WWE. I'm sure by now many of you know what all had came about. I do recap it, but as always in RCWR Show style, I give my thoughts about the whole situation. A lot of very valid points that I made that I think a lot of you guys will definitely appreciate. And I barely even scratched the surface with a lot of the points that I brought up. You guys will hear that towards the end of the show. So what you're going to hear right now is what aired on Monday, January 28th, 2019. And then once that wraps up, we'll do a nice smooth transition so that you guys can hear the talk about my 2 cents on Dean Ambrose getting ready to part ways with the WWE. We will be back on our regular day and time of Tuesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern. That will definitely go into effect on Tuesday, February 5th, 2019. By the way, I will be live this Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. As always, it is a tradition that we've been doing here for the past couple of years. We have been coming on Super Bowl Sunday, talk about the highs and lows of the commercials, talk about the game in general. And you know, we're going to be getting WWE halftime heat special. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll be covering all of that this coming Super Bowl Sunday. So do join me for that. Going to be live on YouTube. Again, live on YouTube, Sunday, February the 3rd. And for everybody else, we'll catch you on our regular day and time of Tuesday, February 5th, 10 p.m. Eastern, as soon as SmackDown wraps up. Until then, get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And in the meantime, do enjoy this episode. Hey guys, what is going on? You are checking out the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders, covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Coming at you guys with a special Monday night edition of the RCWR Show for January the 28th, 2019. I honestly did not think I was going to be doing this episode here tonight. And for those of you that had checked out the Royal Rumble after show that we did, and if you didn't check it out after you get done with this episode, do scoop that up. It is available on demand and on the downloads. I had told you guys that originally I thought I was going to be seeing the special showing of Paige's new movie. But when I went back and looked at the RSVP, it actually had said that no, Tuesday. And then the more I thought about it, I realized that there were a couple of you that had interacted with me online, letting me know, hey, that's cool, you got your ticket, but mine's is on Tuesday. And I never did put two and two together. And I did not know that the movie was actually going to be on Tuesday until I got to work and was checking in with the missus, and she said, hey, you're doing that movie tonight, right? What time is it again? I said, well, I think it's blah, 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 but let me check again. So I went back and checked, and it turns out it's Tuesday. So it made more sense to just go on ahead and give you guys a special Monday night edition of the RCWR Show. As we said at the top, we cover all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond, and been doing so since 2011. We're definitely going to be talking about Monday Night Raw. There's also a couple of tidbits that's gone down since last we were on the air. I'm going to try to make it be a little bit of a short episode because we've just been pumping out content for you guys these past couple of nights. As always, I do love hearing from you guys. Get at me a couple of ways. We got our Discord chat, so you guys always representing in the Discord. Definitely appreciate you guys. And also, and look, for those of you that maybe have not signed up for our Discord, it's free. Best part about the Discord, you can access it on your phone, your tablet, on your desktop if maybe you have a desk job, right, at work or whatnot. There's plenty of ways that you can get the Discord app, and it's free. And all you got to do from there, if you got Twitter, you got Facebook, or hell, you can even leave a comment in the YouTube comment section and say, hey Lee, I got the Discord, I'd like to join the chat, let me know. And once you get yourself set up on Discord, pretty much all I got to do is just send you an invite. That's pretty much the fastest way. I can definitely get it done for you guys. So we're definitely going to be talking about that. And I know a lot of people had received their emails for the movie, but see, here's the real question. Because I noticed this pattern, and I'm not sure if many of you guys had noticed it as well. And see, unlike some people that are using social media to get likes, retweets, all that stuff, I just speak my mind. And so when I initially had checked my email and I see something from WWE and they're going, hey, we want you to go see the Paige movie, I'm going, what the hell, is this a scam? And so I tweeted what I tweeted. I can't even remember what the hell I had tweeted, honestly. I know Paige liked it. That much I do remember. But then there was like a boatload of other people that were liking it, and a couple of people were, I got it too. But see, here's the difference. How many are actually going to go and see the movie? Even though it's free, you'd be surprised. Even though you're giving somebody a free movie, and it could be just down the street from them, you'd be surprised how many people will pass up. I mean, let's be real. It's not like it's Avengers Infinity War or anything like that, right? Which, by the way, it looks like all AMC theaters, in case you guys had missed this, all AMC theaters for Black History Month, they will be showing for free Black Panther. So if maybe you recently had cut the cord with Netflix, because I know Black Panther was up on there and you never did get an opportunity to see it, well, now here's an opportunity for you to go see the movie at an AMC theater for free. So basically all you got to now worry about is drinks and good food, right? All month long during Black History Month. Remember that, you heard that here first for you guys. So that's pretty awesome. So, and speaking of AMC theaters, I'm actually going a little bit out of my way to see this Paige movie, because sadly I've got to travel pretty deep out in DC to go check out this movie. So I'm really not too thrilled about that, because by the time I basically get home, it's pretty much do a movie review, have that upload immediately to YouTube and all the other platforms, and then go right to bed, because I don't think I'm going to be getting in until probably about 10, maybe 11 o'clock at night. And then by the time I get done doing the page movie review, and then edit it, post-production, all that crap, it's probably, God, I'm probably not going to officially be done until maybe about 1-ish, maybe 1:30. So trust me, what may sound like, that ain't, trust me, by the time I do all that, and I'm going to be leaving from work to go right to the movie theater. So yeah, work, movie, home, technically still working, and then pretty much go to bed. So, it is what it is, man. But anyway, so we saw Monday Night Raw tonight. Let's talk about that for several minutes before we dive into some other wrestling news tidbits, yeah? So, look, I gotta say, for the post-aftermath of what all went down at the Royal Rumble, and look, we all can be in agreement. I've had a little bit of time to sleep on what I initially had said about the Royal Rumble, and some parts I still do feel the way that I feel. But honestly, for the most part, the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event, it was good. There were definitely moments in there that made you go, oh, well, this 2019 edition of the Royal Rumble, I'll definitely be remembering because of these moments that had occurred, right? And we didn't really get a chance to talk about it on the Royal Rumble after show, but I am aware of the comments that a particular individual had made on social media. And if you're following the RCWR Show on Facebook, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, as there's been a few interactions that has come about with regards to this. So just to set it up properly for you guys, again, we're just briefly revisiting the Royal Rumble because, like I said, I did not talk about this on the after show. So you had an individual by the name of Lou DiBella, and that name may not sound familiar to you guys. That's okay if you don't know who that is, but he's got the blue check mark, and I gotta be honest with you, I can't stand certain individuals that have the little blue check mark, because sadly, on a platform like Twitter, and you have a bunch of individuals that see a person that has a check mark, oh my God, everything that this person says is law. Oh my God, I gotta take everything that this person is saying with authority because they've got the check mark. Oh my God, they are important. They are somebody. Oh my God, I gotta listen to what they're saying. They're cool. They're relevant. They're pop culture. And that's just how it is, unfortunately, with a lot of people. Just because they have the blue check mark, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. I have seen people that have 200 followers and they're only following 3 people, and they aren't on TV or anything like that, and they have a blue check mark. Just saying, right? Ain't nothing special about that damn blue check mark. But anyway, when you look up this guy's bio, you see that he is a guy that's associated with MMA/boxing and all that. And so he put out this tweet. You can read this for yourself on the Facebook page, facebook.com/the RCWR Show. He says, and I quote, "I know that the WWE has given great opportunities to women in recent years. Done an all-women's pay-per-view, has an accomplished female executive at the top of the company, etc., etc. Still, this comment and many that have been made to my last tweet help to explain my position." And he basically had quoted somebody that had said, "Shut the F up," and you fill in the blank, starts with a P, ends in a Y. Now, how did all this start? Well, the tweet that he initially put out shortly after the Royal Rumble ended. "Hey WWE, okay, you're sports entertainment, but with the legion of kids watching and way too much domestic violence, having women," I think he was trying to say having a woman, but he said having a woman enter a men's Royal Rumble and get pummeled by men is bad messaging, out of line, and was a really bad idea. Shaking my head. Hashtag WWE, WWE Network, WWE Royal Rumble. Many people very outspoken about this individual. And for me personally, I just took a step back and I didn't even have to think about this for 3 goddamn seconds. I didn't. And I immediately tweeted back to him. As soon as I saw this, I said, I can flip the script and say, hey, WWE, don't show women beating up men as you're promoting domestic abuse. And I don't want to see my 4-year-old granddaughter doing XYZ to my godson. It is ultimately the responsibility of parents to educate their kids on the importance of right and wrong. And so when you go over to the Facebook page, I did pretty much expand upon that more, and I added to that because the characters on Twitter, you only get but so much. I said on Facebook, knuckleheads like this guy is why the Attitude Era will never probably return fully. Fans say they miss the good old days, and what happens every time they get a little something? It gets scrutiny. I can think of a gazillion periods in WWE history where fans didn't think about gender and just got lost in a special moment and could tell you about it with a twinkle in their eye and smile on their face. WWE does its part with don't try this at home. Self-accountability is with the parents at home or in attendance to make sure they set their kids right. And I had enjoyed some of the comments that had came in with regards to this. I got to give a shout out to one of my friends, Frank Falcon, who is a wrestling promoter himself. And he's actually, I think, gearing up later this summer to get back into the fold again. I know he was tied up with some personal matters, nothing devastating or anything like that, just taking care of some personal business. And I enjoyed what Frank had said. Frank had said, and I quote, from a Wyoming standpoint, because he does a lot of his wrestling promotion activities out in Wyoming, I encounter some of the same. It is never from locals in Wyoming, but others that see the videos who take issue with gender equatable matches, even though I am literally just keeping Wyoming traditions from the 1800s going. Shout out to Dan. Dan had appreciated the response. See if there was another comment that came in there. Yeah, just mainly everybody's just agreeing with what I had said there. Yeah, and it wasn't a situation where somebody's sucking up or, I'm cherry picking. Honestly, as long as it's respectful, if somebody disagrees, I've let many comments fly where didn't see eye to eye, but it still created great discussion. So that's where I come from. The self-accountability starts with the parents. I mean, I don't know how it is for you all that may be younger than 20 or whatnot, but I know in my respected household growing up, when I saw some of the stuff that was on my TV, as far as professional wrestling goes, I could definitely remember my mom and or my dad telling me the importance of not doing any of those moves on my friends, no matter what, because what I was seeing on TV, the guys that were doing it in the ring, they were professionals. I was told that they had spent years and years training to be able to perfect what they're doing in that ring, and that under no circumstances was I allowed to do anything like that. So much so that I was told that if I did try to do moves like that and they found out about it, I was going to get one serious ass whooping. Okay, so I never did do any moves of that nature. Sure, every kid has done the, bouncing up and down on the bed and, pretending you're doing the Shawn Michaels elbow or anything like that. That's one thing if you're doing it to your bed or you're doing it to a teddy bear, stuffed animal, whatever. But to do it to another person, okay. Many times we have seen some really jacked up stories of people that have tried the moves at home on individuals. One story that jumps out at me, and I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that remember the story. There was somewhat of I don't want to say she was a mentally challenged woman, but from just what I remember of the story, I believe she was. And her brother and some other people, they just kept taking advantage of her. And I remember they did wrestling moves on her for several hours. And she eventually expired because of the injuries that she had sustained from those guys. And they were living with her. Here she was opening up her own home, trying to do a solid. And they took advantage of that generosity. They took advantage of her mental handicap. And I know all those guys, they had got jail time and all that. It wasn't a situation where they all were young either. When I say young, they weren't kids. I don't believe they were teenagers. And if they were, they damn sure knew better because they were at least 18 and up. But it was a black guy for the sport of professional wrestling when that story had broke out. So for me, it's all about self-accountability. It starts with the parents. And trust me, if it was a situation where, if I was a parent right now and my kid is watching what's going on with Nia Jax, well, first off, I would like to believe that if it was a daughter that I had and my daughter is seeing what Nia Jax is doing, I would like to believe, knowing the type of cat that I am, I would probably say to my daughter, if I had one, hey, see, honey, look at Nia Jax. Keep that in mind, honey. Anything is possible. A woman can do anything. Don't let nobody, especially no man, tell you that you can't do X, Y, Z. Shoot for the stars. Dream big. Anything can and will be obtainable as long as you are willing to seek it through no matter what. There's going to be hardship along the way, but if you're willing to endure it, you're going to come out on top at the very end. I promise you. I would definitely look at that moment that Nia Jax had did, and I would say something like that to my kid. Of course, I would also follow that up with, hey, no matter what, those moves that you see on TV, don't do that. And if anybody tries to get you to do some type of a move or lay on the ground so they could do a move on you, no, it ain't happening. Don't do it under any circumstances. When they try to force you to do something, you scream, you go find the nearest adult, blah, 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 blah. That's what I mean about self-accountability. It's so easy to point at somebody else and be like, hey, you should. And it's, well, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You know what you're getting yourself into. When you had ordered this pay-per-view or when you bought this ticket to come see the event in person, you knew exactly what you were going to be getting yourself into, right? So, and that's why I feel the way that I feel every single time we get some type of a situation where, okay, you fans keep clamoring for Attitude Era. You want for the days of Attitude Era to come back. You want to see key moments come back. And then when you're given just a little tiny bit of a crumb, not saying everybody, but you have certain individuals like this guy's tweet that I just read that'll take a massive shit. And then everybody's up in the uproar. I really hope that what he had put out there does not pick up such traction that Deadspins and TMZs and everybody else. I really hope that they don't pick up on this and continue giving him his 15 minutes of fame. Because Lord knows, I've already spent enough time talking about that knucklehead as it is. And I'm not going to be giving him any more press. But look, in a nutshell, if Randy Orton was cool with that, if Rey Mysterio was cool with that, if Dolph Ziggler was freaking cool with that, if Mustafa Ali was cool with that, but most importantly, because of all the side charity work that she does, the PSAs that she puts out there, trying to do her best to empower young girls, young women, Nia Jax, if she didn't feel comfortable doing, because ultimately it's on her shoulders, would she have caught in a little bit of flack? Yeah, she probably would have. But if she did not feel comfortable being in that position, if she felt that it was demeaning, that it was degrading, that it was sending some type of a message that I'm sure of all people, she definitely would have put her foot down and that would have been the end of it. But all of those people that I just named who did their own respective parts in putting her over, Now, see, this would have been a different conversation. Just really stop and think about that for a second. We would be having an entirely different discussion right now if it was a situation where those individuals who I just named, where we find out none of them did not want to work with Nia Jax. When they found out the plan that had came about from the bookers, a few of them had, no, I'm not doing that shit. Screw you. Right? Then we would be having an entirely different conversation right now. And that's the God's to honest truth. I don't really think there would be hardly to zero that many people that would be saying, oh, yeah, Randy Orton, and that's right. Yeah. No, I really don't believe that. Because we are just in this day and age right now where, not just from a wrestling standpoint, but when you really stop and you go outside of the wrestling world, I mean, fuck, it's 2019, people, right? There are so many women that are coming up that are, my God, you got women that in a lot of cases do a much better job than men in regards to some industries. Women are, now in that position where they can command X amount of money equal to their male counterparts. Some of them are able to command really good salaries. They're able to surpass the males in some cases. So to kind of see comments like this, I can't help but go, okay, is your masculinity really checked at the door? Are you really all about the women getting their just due? Because what you might see as domestic abuse, I look at that and I say, hey, this was a great moment in history. I don't remember people having the same type of conversation when Karma did what she did when she entered the Rumble. I don't remember people having the same type of dialogue going when Beth Phoenix had entered. I don't remember this type of dialogue going down when Chyna did her thing. And it's so funny because every single time Chyna's name keeps being brought up for the WWE Hall of Fame, that's one moment in history that everybody is quick to talk about, is that moment in the Rumble. So all I'm saying is, if we're going to be acting one way towards something that we see from whichever wrestling promotion, we need to be consistent to the point that if we're going to be, WWE or companies like WWE, you shouldn't be promoting domestic abuse, men being able to attack the women. Okay, well, let's flip that script. Let's flip the script. Nor should you be showing women beating up on the men. How many times have we turned on the channel or watched a pay-per-view within the past 4 years from WWE alone, and the women have been beating the crap out of the men? We just saw on Monday Night Raw tonight, Nia Jax getting a little rough, playful rough there with Dean Ambrose. I didn't see any continued outrage from what went down tonight online. Everybody was pretty sold on that. Matter of fact, we had the people in attendance saying, let them fight, right? So if we're going to say, we shouldn't be seeing men hit the women, well, then we need to be consistent also and flip the gender and say, well, we don't need to be seeing women hitting on the men as well. Let's let it be women versus the women and the men versus the men. If we're going to do intergender matches, all right, well, we're going to continue to do the traditional. All right, the male's tagged in. All right, female wrestler, you got to get out. Your male partner has to get in and face this male wrestler. And all right, now flip it. All right, women. Enough said. But this post-Royal Rumble episode of Monday Night Raw, I enjoyed it. They pretty much had got the ball rolling with regards to WrestleMania. Love the fact that they had kicked it off with Dean Ambrose, Triple H. Both of them a little bit flabbergasted, and I couldn't help but notice Triple H, as he had came out to talk to Seth Rollins, he turned to a little kid. And you all got to let me know on social media. I'm not sure if this kid was somebody that Seth Rollins accidentally went past when he came out first, because I kind of like the sidebar chatter, even though it was inaudible, that Hunter had with Rollins, because Triple H comes out and he homes in on this little kid, pats him and everything like that, shakes his hand, gets into the ring and he's kind of saying a little something to Rollins, and just the body language, it almost kind of came off as if, hey, how could you forget the kid over there? And then to see a few seconds later, the camera goes back to that kid. I thought that was very peculiar, and hopefully you didn't miss the commercial, but later on in the night, they actually had WWE, that is, they did a pre-production piece as that kid they had followed, as he thought he was just going to be on a regular tour of something WWE related, but he got to meet a bunch of superstars and all that. So I'm not really sure if Seth Rollins totally had forgot who was there and making sure that for good PR that he went over to the kid or whatnot. I'll actually have to watch that again to see what had went down. This episode of the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is brought to you in part by OnlineLoans.Deals. That's OnlineLoans.Deals. I know for you, our younger listeners out there, it can be very difficult in trying to figure out what you are going to do with those student loans. Let's face it, nobody wants to deal with that. Myself and my friends, when we had went to school during our respective time, it was a headache. We did not have all the necessary resources that was at our disposal on how to go about these loans, how to go about making sure we're paying them back on time, options for, hey, what if I can't make these payments? My God, what's going to happen after I graduate from college and then I have to pay this back? What if I can't pay it back as soon as I graduate because I've got to find work, I've got to find a place to live? There's just so many variables that you don't know about, and you wish that you had someone that could just walk you along the way and give you all of that great input. Well, OnlineLoans.Deals can help you out with all of that. They give you everything that you need to know so that you can be better educated in going for these loans. Maybe you're in a position where now that you got these loans out of the way, you maybe have to work on loan consolidations. Well, again, OnlineLoans.Deals can help you out with everything that you need to know, from the type of loans that are available to you to trying to go about making payment arrangements. What about student loan consolidation backed by federal governments, consolidation loans, federal providers, consolidated federal loan downsides, payment schedules, all of that. So much more. Check them out. I wish me and my friends had this when we were in school, but we didn't. We pretty much went in blind, and for some of us, we are still paying off these student loans to this very day. Please don't be like us. Make sure that you are better educated than we were, and check out OnlineLoans.Deals. Tonight's edition of the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is brought to you in part by RideV.com. Check them out today. RideV.com, spelled RIDVY. RideV.com. They are a ride-sharing company. Think Lyft, think Uber. Now look, if you are getting sick and tired of the ridiculous rates coming from Lyft and Uber, maybe, just maybe, you don't like the customer service that you've been receiving from those two companies, or all of the above, I have a better alternative for you. It is RideV.com. These guys truly do care about top-notch customer service. They treat their drivers, who are their employees, like family, like they are one of their own. Come check them out, RideV.com. And on a side note, can I just tell you a little bit of a personal story that's happening with the RideV company right now? These guys have believed in the American dream, which is anything is possible as long as you put your mind to it. If you have the vision, you have the passion, you have the will, you have the drive, the determination to go out there and do the dirty work, get your dreams accomplished so that finally you can be living that American dream and be a success. Well, that is what key individuals that started up the RideV company believed in, and for a few years now, they have just been working at it, one customer at a time, one foundation at a time, to build their company up to where it is today. And sadly, they recently got hit with a nasty letter from the juggernaut Lyft. Yes, Lyft themselves, telling them that they were going to be taking them to court for copyright infringement. And as far as the guys at R.I.P are concerned, this is nothing more than a situation of David versus Goliath. And Goliath is just trying to do nothing more than knock these guys out so that they can try to continue to be the top dog. And then that way, their only other competition they need to worry about is Uber. Hey, there's plenty of real estate for everybody. You look at the vast majority, it doesn't matter what city, what state you're in, you're looking at the ridiculous amount of cab companies that's out there. You think about all of the other ride-sharing companies like Uber, like Lyft, like R.I.P that's out there. Hell, even 25 Cab, just to name a few. There's plenty of real estate out there for everybody to coexist. You may not have to work together, but there is enough real estate, there is enough people out there where different companies can service the needs of all. So, if you're a little bit pissed off at that story that I just shared with you all, and you all want to help R.I.P win this battle against Lyft, this legal lawsuit against Lyft, you could definitely contribute to their legal aid as they are trying to gather up enough money to possibly win this. Head on over to their GoFundMe page at gofundme.com/RIDV. That's gofundme.com/RIDVY. Once again, gofundme.com/RIDV. And if you happen to be in need of a ride, definitely keep ridv.com. Once again, ridv.com. And if you want to contribute to their GoFundMe, gofundme.com/RIDV. Now look, I know you, RCWR Nation, you may be in a position right now where you're still recovering from the holidays. That is okay. Whatever you can contribute is perfectly fine. But if you are not in a position where you can give right now, you can do the next best thing, and you can share those links with friends, family members, co-workers, social media platforms, the whole 9 yards. I'm sure the guys over at R.I.P would greatly appreciate it. And if you've missed all of that information, we've included it for you all in the episode description of this very episode. I love Triple H telling Rollins, hey, I challenged you a couple of months ago to bring back the old Seth Rollins. You've done just that, but hey, now you got a very tough decision that you need to make. Are you going to face Brock Lesnar for his championship? Or are you going to face Daniel Bryan? Look, I need to know as soon as humanly possible. So I'm telling you what I'm willing to do. I'll give you till the end of the night to make your decision. But I need your decision tonight so that we know how we need to move forward. Daniel Bryan's going to be here. Brock Lesnar is going to be here. Dean Ambrose came out sour over what had went down at the Rumble. He came pretty short, wanting a match against Seth Rollins, picking Triple H a little bit, poking at him, asking him if he had to go backstage and get his father-in-law's permission to set up a match between Ambrose, between Seth Rollins and he. Triple H went on here, caught out a referee. They had a pretty good match. I gotta say, their match was pretty good. Seth Rollins picking up the W over that one. Took a commercial break, came on back. Dean Ambrose was in the middle of the ring, sitting down, and he was trying to get real serious for a moment, telling the crowd to be quiet, that it was straight from the heart what he was getting ready to say. And we heard him begin to say, ever since I came back to the WWE, and then the music of Nia Jax had hit. She came on out with Tamina, and I love their little scuffle, their little exchange that they had. It was nice. I loved it. That pretty much was a prelude to a tag team match as Mickie James and Alexa Bliss had teamed up to face Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. Not too shabby. I tell you what, though, man, I was saying this online, too. Mickie James, she has found some type of fountain of youth because she just gets prettier and prettier by the freaking year. I gotta tell you, by the year. And I am just amazed at that. Quick sidebar, because I know we're streaming this live only on YouTube right now. To the people that's watching the stream right now, can you do me a huge favor if you're enjoying the show so far? do me a favor and make sure you click the thumbs up. I know there's probably going to be some of you cats that's going to be seeing the dislike ratio. I've actually reached out to YouTube about it, and they've told me that they are, hopefully before the year is out, they're actually going to be fine-tuning the like-dislike ratio. Apparently, it's not me. It's also other YouTubers as well. We've been dealing with a lot of people that either have multiple accounts, which they don't realize the same IP address can be tracked. And so YouTube is now kind of getting into that situation where they're trying to figure out who has bogus accounts and are just spamming the dislike button. And then there's actually, believe it or not, there's actually a stupid system that's out there where people buy dislike bots, and they have it programmed so that every single time a particular YouTuber goes live, instantly within seconds, you will see their like-dislike ratio just freaking skyrocket. Like, you could just be watching a video and there's no likes yet, and within like less than 2 minutes you see like 6, 10, 20 freaking dislikes. It's ridiculous, but I'm glad YouTube, at least in 2019, is finally going to be cracking on that bad boy. Anyway, Mickie James, yeah man, she just continues to amaze the hell out of me. Every single year that goes by, she just gets better and better and better looking, and I tell you, she is in the best shape that she is in right now. Oh my God, Magnus, you have done very well for yourself, I tell you, man. I was loving her attire. I am trying to do my best not to fumble with my words right now, but when I saw her come out Royal Rumble and she had her Tatanka inspired, I was just woo-wee. And then to see her come back out tonight in the same attire. Hey, I might have seen it the night before, but woo, daddy. That's all I had to say, man. Beautiful, beautiful, stunning woman. Beautiful. Good match there. Nia Jax, Tamina Snuka picking up the W there. Kurt Angle, I gotta say, Kurt Angle taking on Baron Corbin, they did pretty good in setting that up. And I'll tell you the reason why. Is because one of the last times we saw Kurt Angle one-on-one, he had faced Drew McIntyre, and we all saw the outcome of that. So I thought it was awesome that as far as storyline consistency goes, here we go again. Kurt Angle facing Baron Corbin. I won't really say rivalry renewed, because there is no renewing needed. It's just a situation where, you know, these two are pretty much, there's bad blood. There's constantly been bad blood. They haven't squashed their feud. So to see that these two guys were going to be locking up, I thought that was awesome. But I love how whoever the girl was that was doing the backstage interviewing, I don't think it was Charlie Caruso. If it was, you guys let me know. But I love how the backstage interviewer had brought up, hey, one of the last times we saw you, you were taking on Drew McIntyre, and we saw what happened. Where is your mindset right now going into this matchup? Are you really sure that you're going to be okay facing Baron Corbin one-on-one? How do we know that history isn't going to repeat itself? Dasha Fuentes, that was the backstage interviewer talking to Kurt Angle. And, you know, Kurt Angle, I love how he sold that, because right when he's asked that question, okay, if you're confident, what's past is past, you're going to like answer that question instantly, no hesitation, right? But we see this crack in the demeanor of Kurt Angle, as if that question not only threw him off, but almost like it was stomp the trunk, basically. And he's just dumbfounded. He doesn't know the quite way to answer that question. He's searching. And I like that he basically says, hey, I'm not the one that's worried. Corbin should be the one worried. They had a pretty good matchup. I actually had enjoyed that. Closing moments of that one, we saw Kurt Angle try to make a comeback, hit the angle slam. That only got him a near close pin attempt, middle of the ring. Angle had dropped the straps, applied the ankle lock. Corbin managed to power out, hit the deep six, picked up the win after that. After the match was over, Corbin came on back, attacked Kurt Angle again, hit him with the end of days, and pretty much made his exit after that. And you're just going, Interesting what's going on right here. And I kind of have an idea where all of this is going. Finn Balor was scheduled to come on out next. Finn Balor admitting that, hey, I went the distance with Brock Lesnar. You saw what went down. As far as I'm concerned, Brock Lesnar attacked me post-match because now he believed in what I was capable of. So, kind of, basically in a nutshell, if you want to read in between the lines, Finn Balor was basically saying, Brock Lesnar did not take me seriously before our match, but after what me and him were able to do, after he experienced what I was able to bring, the fact that he did what he did to me post-match, in his own way, Brock was showing me respect because now he takes me seriously. Do I agree with some people that the way that match had ended, there's something unresolved there that you can easily go back and pick up on it later? Yes, and I think WWE would be fools if they did not go back and do that match again. Only this go round, you can say Beast versus the Demon, which I know a lot of you all, I'm sure if we did a poll, it would pretty much be freaking unanimous, right? That a lot of you all actually wanted to see the Demon this first go around. And maybe a lot of us wanted to see the Demon just from the standpoint of it takes a demon to even try to counter a beast, right? That really would have been bad. It kind of would have felt like Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar to a certain degree. Just the whole mystique of the Dead Man character and all that, from Death Valley, all that cool stuff. Finn Balor didn't get a chance to talk that long as Lio Rush and his man Bobby Lashley came to the scene. Leo taking shots, calling him a twerp. I just couldn't help but go, Leo, don't go there, brother, because Finn Balor can easily come right back and say, who you calling a twerp? You look like a damn reject extra from the Revenge of the Nerds franchise. But that would have been witty. That would have been really cool if they would have kind of had that little banner. I was actually looking for it, but it didn't go down. We basically had saw Leo talk up his man, Bobby Lashley. And from there, Lashley had decked the hell out of Finn Balor. Followed that up with a choke slam to the mat. Lashley was just standing over Balor. Drove him down yet again. Drove him down basically 3 times. And that pretty much was it. Lio Rush raised Lashley's hand up in the air, and that pretty much was it. So we kind of have an idea where that's going to be going. Kind of safe to say that I don't particularly care for it, but it is what it is. It looks like Finn Balor is going to be facing Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. I'm cool with that, but here's my question. Do you bust out the Demon? Or do you save the Demon until it's time for Balor to lock up with Lesnar again? I would have to say, with regards to that, I don't think the Demon should be making an appearance at this year's WrestleMania. I mean, it is what it is, but I personally would not go in that direction. Keep going here. You guys enjoying the show so far? If you are, make sure you smash the thumbs up. We're talking Fallout from Monday Night Raw. We're also going to be talking about some wrestling headlines and just a little bit more. We're going to try to give you guys a nice short edition of the show tonight because we have pumped out a lot of content for you guys these past couple of nights here. So let's keep right on rolling. Revival picking up a W over Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins. Not too shabby of a matchup. We saw a women's tag team titles elimination chamber qualifying match that had saw Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan defeat Natalya and Dana Brooke. Look, they can keep telling me that Dana Brooke has been doing some additional training. She's been saying her prayers. She's been eating her vitamins and all that jazz. They can keep coming at me with all that. You can take Dana Brooke and you can dye her hair red. You can make her a brunette. You can give Dana Brooke a new tan. You can have Dana Brooke come out with less makeup and all that caked up lipstick around her lips. You could do whatever. It's still the same no matter how you dress it up. And I don't want people coming at me and going, Lee, you're a cold-hearted son of a bitch, brother. Hey, I'm just being for real. Okay, let me give her a pass for now phase, that's over and done with. I gave her a pass once her boyfriend, longtime boyfriend, had sadly passed away. That's a messed up way for somebody to go out. Alone for that matter. You know, no help. I mean, I'm sure if somebody would have been there with him that night, he probably would still be here today. And for you guys that need a trip down memory lane, Google that bitch, as Paul Heyman would say. But she's moved on. She's in a new relationship now. She's thriving. She's happy and all that good stuff. But for me, I'm not seeing anything. I mean, what is different about 2019? Legit question for you guys. What is different about 2019 compared to the previous years? That's almost like saying, well, now I'm going to be serious about this. Well, what the fuck were you doing the other previous years? Weren't you being serious the other previous years? What are you talking about? So, it is what it is. I know she has her fans, and they're just going to be like Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. You know, Ezekiel Elliott just going to eat that up, but whatever, man. Raw Women's title match. We saw Ronda Rousey. Yes, you heard me right. There was a Raw Women's title match. Ronda Rousey had put out there an open challenge. And I got to admit, the crowd, they really got to Ronda Rousey tonight. And I saw so many people taking a massive shit on her. I just brushed it off. Look, I've told you guys since day one that Ronda Rousey had signed with the WWE, and one of the first early WWE promos that she did, and everybody was eating her alive back then. I was one of very few podcasts that came on that very night or the very next day and said, look, speaking on watching the career of Ronda Rousey in the MMA world, she's not much of a talker. Yeah, if she's in a Hollywood movie, she knows her lines. She knows how she needs to act. All that good stuff. But get all that away from her. MMA world, she's not really that much of a talker. She likes to go out there and does what she needs to do in the ring. She let her talking in the ring speak for itself. But I said to you guys, you got to give her time. She will get better if she is serious. And I told you, I said, I know she's serious because I'm seeing how she trains and all that. She's going to take this opportunity and she's going to improve where she needs to improve. The crowd really got to her. I don't really think she was expecting the type of reactions that she was going to be getting tonight. I'm quite sure that somebody in the back has said to her, hey, look, the audience is smart out here. They probably most likely know that Becky Lynch is still in the city. So you could be dealing with a hostile environment. Just want to let you know. They probably gave her that heads up and she says, okay, yeah, no problem. All right, I'm out there. No problem. But to get the preparation, to get that in the back of your head as you're on your way out, and then to actually experience it in the middle of the ring is two different things. You can do all the prepping you want, but until you've actually experienced it firsthand, and then try to figure out your way through that. And that's what we watched tonight. She struggled during that promo to basically try to set up her open challenge and, you know, hey, Becky Lynch, I know you're probably watching, blah this, blah that. And I felt for her. I actually did feel a little bit bad for her. But she's going to have to take this and she's going to have to learn from it. You don't give the crowd that much power. You just don't. It's no different than a podcaster, for example, and they might like to interact with everybody on social media and they may have a chat room open and everything, and you keep getting trolls in the chat room. They'll say derogatory, inflammatory, or whatever. You got some decisions to make, especially if you know those same people keep making their rounds and they're trying to do what they can to break the flow of your show. They're trying to break your concentration. Okay, well, do you disable the chat room? Do you maybe just ignore the chat room totally? You know, what do you do? How do you get better? Right? Until you actually experience it, learn from it, and then say, okay, here's where I need to improve. The experience, that's what it's all about. So I'm going to give Ronda a pass. You know, she's been with the WWE for basically a year now. What she showed me in the ring, I was just on this show less than 24 hours ago, giving her praise for what she's been able to do in the ring, giving her praise for what she's been able to do with the promos. And quite honestly, as far as who came to the exception of her challenge, it would be Bayley. And that was actually really good. A little bit of confusion, though, during this match, because one part we see Bayley and Ronda Rousey, they're fighting in the corner. And I'm not sure if Ronda Rousey was trying to climb up the turnbuckle or what, but something weird went down where I know her right arm, she was selling the injury to that because Bayley did do a little something to that arm. Then she tried to do a little something like climbing up on the turnbuckle or whatnot, and her leg gave out. And for the next several minutes, Corey's good. Corey can usually clean up whatever. But Corey on this one, Corey Graves, Michael Cole, they were just a little bit flabbergasted because you're listening to the commentating and you're going, my guys, is it the leg or is it the freaking arm? Which one do we need to home in on? Is it both? What exactly is going on? So that right there was just kind of nerve-wracking. I actually had to just tune them out and focus on the match itself, because if you listen to the color commentating, very easy to get confused by what these guys were probably instructed to try to sell or whatnot. But Bayley, Ronda Rousey, really good matchup that they had. Winner of that one, of course, Ronda Rousey. Afterwards, we see Becky Lynch. Music of Becky Lynch played. Crowd, standing ovation, roaring like a mother. Your 2019 Royal Rumble winner, Becky Lynch. Nice big pop from the crowd. Gets in the ring, grabs the microphone, stares Ronda Rousey down and informs her, hey, what I did at the Royal Rumble last night, I told you that sooner or later you and me were going to be meeting again. And pretty much Becky Lynch challenged her, let her know that it's going to be her that she's going to be facing for her title at this year's WrestleMania. And the crowd popped big time for that. They loved it. Meanwhile, you got Ronda Rousey, who gets back on the microphone. And do you guys remember what I just talked about earlier with regards to the crowd getting the best of Ronda? Well, now here's Ronda. Man, hostile environment. Microphone in hand, doesn't even speak, and she's already getting booed. And you see her get a little bit, what's the right word I'm looking for? They break her just a little bit within those seconds, but she finally just does what she should have done initially when she was out there and had the microphone the first go around. Just tune them out, sell what you need to sell. Don't be out there like you're memorizing lines. You can still play off of the crowd, right? But sell what you need to sell. And she just sold what she needed to sell. Love the whole history lane that she took Becky Lynch through, talking about how 10 years of dominance in the MMA world, while Becky Lynch was still just breaking in. She was winning championships. Love all that. Love that. That's going to be a really great matchup at WrestleMania. I hope that the many of you are hoping. I hope it's a situation where we don't have this become a triple threat. I really hope that it ends up just being a one-on-one. I don't really think it's needed, quite honestly. I don't. But talk about the learning experience. We see Ronda and the way she struggled with the promo just earlier before the match. And then to see how she was able to rebound. That's what I'm talking about as far as how she's learning all on the fly. And she's just, some people, they just got to keep learning. They just got to keep learning. And she's definitely getting there. Let's see what else we got. We saw Braun Strowman versus Drew McIntyre. That was actually If I'm not mistaken, that was pretty much getting ready to set up the end of Raw for tonight. Braun Strowman, he actually had one via DQ. Circumstances for that one in the closing moments, we had saw Braun Strowman. He was following Drew McIntyre. Drew somehow managed to, I think, slam Braun into the ring post, if I remember it right. And from there, Drew was fighting Braun off from the apron. Braun yanks him down to the floor. Braun takes apart the steel steps. Braun goes to uses it, but then Baron Corbin had came out of nowhere, attacked him from behind, and that's how the DQ had went down that way. And from there, we had saw a team up between Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. They ganged up on your boy Braun Strowman. Remember what I was telling you earlier? I think I kind of know where this is going. If it's not a situation where, no, I'm pretty confident. I'm going to double down. The way this is looking right now, I'm going to say that with the gang up that Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin did on Braun Strowman, I think for WrestleMania it's going to be Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle teaming up to take those two guys on. That's just how I'm feeling right now. I'm going to call it for what it's worth. I think we're going to go in that direction. All right, and pretty much closing up Monday Night Raw for tonight, Seth Rollins had a decision to make. Brock Lesnar was not going to be waiting. He actually jumped out there to the middle of the ring. Paul Heyman doing the selling, encouraging Seth Rollins to go challenge Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Let's face it, we kind of knew that Paul Heyman was going to come out there and sell that. Basically, it's go with what's safe. Right? Go with the safe route because that's what's going to fucking get you over, right? And instead, it's freaking Seth Rollins coming out and letting his intent be known that he wants Brock Lesnar. He wants to challenge for the Universal Championship. Seth Rollins, I love the way he came in there with that energy and he just started flying at Lesnar with the attacks, side kick, all that good stuff, and Lesnar just coming right back on the rebound. Check this out. Not one F5, not two F5s, not even three F5s, not even four F5s, 5 freaking F5s. 5. Some people will say 6. I counted at least 5 as I was getting ready to do the damn show. At least 5 F5s that Brock Lesnar did on Seth Rollins, laying his ass out. That was just, I love that finish. I loved it. It was, overall, I gotta say, it was pretty decent Raw. And then, hey, man, I gotta show some love to Elias. Elias was in the house once again. Nice little acoustic arrangement that he did. Very nice, soft string arrangement. I really had enjoyed that. I wouldn't mind just hearing an instrumental EP with him where he's just playing around on the guitar. That could actually be the name of a next Elias album. Elias and his guitar, right? Or Elias on guitar. Elias, nothing but guitar. You could just basically, I don't know, do something like that, but just all instrumentals. Don't have him sing. Just listen to him play around with the guitars, try to find the melodies and all that, try to find the chords and all that. That'd be awesome. But we saw him out there. He actually took crap on the WWE Universe, so not really sure if this is a case where Elias is now going back the heel route. Kind of seems that way, as he talked about how the WWE Universe let him down. They should be worshiping him. They should be on their feet cheering for him, all that. And he said that he was done singing to them. That from here on out, any song that he puts out there, it's going to be for him, for his entertainment, for his enjoyment. And this had prompted Jeff Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, to come on out. Pissed off, obviously, at what went down at the Royal Rumble. Seeking a little bit of retribution. You know, hey, son, you're not gonna, hey, slap nuts, you ain't gonna hit me with no guitar and think you can get away with it. Jeff Jarrett. Road Dogg, Jesse James actually came out. I actually felt bad for Road Dogg because anybody that's following him on Twitter knows how much of a biblical individual he is, a holy person he is, and he really does not like social media conflict. He tries to avoid that as much as humanly possible. And I loved hearing him say to Elias how, hey, you don't like blah, 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 got 2 words for you, and the crowd say, suck it. And I can't remember the exclamatory that the crowd had said, but you see Road Dogg's face, and he legitimately, and he even said on the microphone, oh my God, look at what I just started, to the guys in the back, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for it to, and I genuinely felt he was sincerely apologizing, because you just see him multiple times. Guys, you can't say stuff like that. This is a kid show. This is a family-oriented show, and the crowd just, it was like he was egging them on, and that just encouraged them to continue to happen. So, felt bad, but there they were again. Road Dogg, who we all know used to be the roadie when he was with Jeff Jarrett many eons ago, singing their hit song With My Baby Tonight. Renee Young, not knowing the lyrics worth a damn. She tried, though. I appreciated the effort. Came on down to the ring. Somehow Elias is still in the ring, but somehow Jeff Jarrett and Road Dogg kind of parted ways. I'm not sure how that came about, but long story short, Elias hitting Road Dogg with the guitar, gets in the ring. Jarrett tries to cut him off. Jarrett's doing pretty good. He's basically hitting him with a few punches and all that. But Elias ultimately gets the upper hand. Actually, forgive me, guys. Forgive me. God, it really does feel like Road Dogg got hit with a guitar. Maybe he did get hit with a guitar, because the way I'm kind of playing it in my mind right now, I kind of feel as though Jeff Jarrett came out with a guitar, and eventually Elias had hit Road Dogg with a guitar. And I know for a fact Elias hit Jeff Jarrett with another guitar, because I remember Corey Graves and them saying, man, if Jeff Jarrett is going to keep getting hit like this with the guitars, maybe he should stop coming back. Yeah, that's pretty much what Corey said in a nutshell. So, kind of wondering what's going on right there. Is that a particular situation where Jeff Jarrett and Elias are going to be fighting at WrestleMania? Kind of interesting what's going on. And for those of you that might be a little bit curious why we are seeing the resurgence here of Jeff Jarrett, rumblings are some type of arrangement that he's made with the WWE where he's going to be helping out in some type of a backstage capacity. News has already broke out by my good friends over at the Wrestling Inc. site that Hurricane Shane Helms, he's now with the WWE. He's going to be helping them from a backstage production standpoint. You've already got Sanjay Dutt over there. You've also, well, let's back up to Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay Dutt is supposedly going to be helping in a backstage capacity, but per what Triple H recently revealed during a conference call, they're basically going to see how they can best utilize Sanjay Dutt's skills. The Monster Abyss, Joseph Park, pretty much same arrangement like Sanjay. They're going to try to see what they can do with both of those guys. So it's great how they are just acquiring these guys. And hopefully, as far as where they can be placed, if it's not overstacked in NXT, NXT UK, that might not be a little too shabby, quite honestly. Hey, I want to take this time out. Thank those of you that's checking out the show right now. You're checking out the RCWR Show special Monday night edition for January the 28th, 2019, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Definitely going to be diving into a couple of wrestling headlines in just a little bit, but I do want to take this time out to thank those of you not only checking out this episode, but those of you that have been making around, checking out all of the other good shows we've been putting out there for you guys these past couple of weeks. Much love as always. And I do want to recognize some of our show sponsors and some of our Patreon members, because we have not done that in a while. So can we do that? I just want to do that real quick. Want to give shout out to our Patreon members first. Check out patreon.com/RCWR Show. Sign up on there. Get yourself access to some great exclusive content that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. Audio, video, Little cool exclusive unveilings, whole 9 yards. Really, really good stuff. Shout out to Anthony Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup. By the way, did a nice, fantastic show with him last week. Well received. Check that out. It was a blast doing that. We're definitely going to be doing that again for you guys very, very soon. Also, shout out to Michael Wolf, Joe Raymond Jr., John Davis. Special shout out to my good buddy, Tony Bing. If you guys are playing Marvel Strike Force on iOS or Android, man, you need to check him out, because when it comes to reviewing all of these upcoming characters, I know who's getting ready to come out. Carnage is getting ready to be released. We also have, I always forget her name, but the lady with the antennas from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, she's actually going to be an upcoming character. I'm hearing rumblings that Fantastic Four is going to be popping up in the game soon. So if you want to get the news, reviews, get some tutorials on how to pass certain game modes, what you should invest your materials in as far as leveling up your heroes and all that, check out Tony Bing Gaming on YouTube. He's also got a Patreon page as well. I'm sure he'd appreciate the love and the support. Also, this edition of the RCWR Show is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. Check out onlineloans.deals. If you need help with student loan advice or consolidations, check them out, onlineloans.deals. I don't know how many of you guys check out Now This on Facebook, but I saw this heartbreaking story over the weekend out in California, where a Now This correspondent for several weeks was following California college students, and they were talking about how the status of being a student and homeless has rise significantly across the U.S., but just in California alone, there is an estimated 50,000 students that are homeless. So they're going to school and everything, and they're living in their cars, or some of them are living in shelters, and it's really heartbreaking. I greatly would encourage you guys to check it out, but the main theme for a lot of these students was they can't afford housing because they've taken out so many loans to put themselves in a position where they can go to school and all that. And I'm sure for those of you that major rounds going through school like I have, it's a situation where sadly you're not really taught, okay, well, look, these programs are available if you're trying to find affordable housing, things of that nature. So if you're in a position, once again, where you're getting ready to be in that process of paying back a student loan, or you need consolidation advice, check them out, onlineloans.deals. Also, the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is brought to you by Captain Dark. Check him out. He's on twitch.tv/Captain Dark. He is generally streaming video games Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. Not sure if that's Eastern or Standard Time. You'll have to check out his Twitch channel for that information. And your host, Captain Dark, he is playing, it doesn't matter what the game is. It can be mainstream. It can be something of a future release. Whatever's popular. It could be a hidden gem. It could be something underrated. He's playing them. Check him out. Twitch.tv/Captain Dark. Also, if you're sick and tired of Uber and Lyft taking advantage of its drivers, you might be a driver. You never know. You're getting sick and tired of that, and if you want to actually be your own boss, set your own price, and own your own rideshare business, 25cab.com can help. Check them out, 25cab.com. Let's continue on with the show here, man. We got a couple more topics that we can get into before we get ready to stick a fork in it and call it DONE done. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit back and forth a little bit. How many of you guys remember that metal show with Eddie Trunk? And if you guys never did check out the great conversation I had with Mr. Eddie Trunk from some years back when that metal show was still on the air, I believe. We actually even talked to Jennifer Gottlieb, Miss, what was her name on that show? Miss Junk of Box, I think that was her name. Well, check this out. That metal show, is actually going to be doing a reunion. Now, it's not what you're thinking. Eddie Trunk recently had talked about the future of that metal show 2 weeks ago. And he said that as far as the show coming back, there is just no takers. There is somebody that has been trying to do their very best to pitch that show to several networks. There is just no interest. And I know everybody's like, well, what about Access TV? It's been pitched to Access TV. They just are not interested. Okay? Never say never. But in the meantime, all three guys of that metal show, they're going to be reuniting for the 2019 Epic Center. That's going to be happening in Richmond County, North Carolina. This is a 3-day event of nothing but good music. You're going to see the return of not just that metal show, but Stomp the Trunk. Everything is going to be coming back. Again, Eddie Trunk, Don Jamieson, Jim Florentine. This is going to be going down May 10th and the 11th. Of course, the Epic Center event itself that's happening in North Carolina, it's a 3-day event. It's actually happening on the 10th, 11th, and 12th. But the trio from that metal show, they're only going to be there for the dates that I had mentioned just a few seconds ago, which is the 10th and the 11th. But listen to this lineup as far as musical acts that's going to be there. I'm not even reading all of the names. I'm only reading just the heavy hitting ones, because if I were to read every single name that's on here, it would be like freaking 5 minutes. We ain't got time for that. So just listen to this. This is on Friday alone. Again, just some of the names. Korn, Rob Zombie, The Prodigy, Evanescence, Machine Gun Kelly, Skillet. Saturday, Tool, Judas Priest, The Cult, Bush, Black Label Society. Whew, man, that's great. Sunday, Foo Fighters, Mastodon. Freaking Mastodon is going to be there. Killswitch Engage, Tom Morello, Rainwolf, Bring Me the Horizon, 311. If you guys are interested and you want to get yourself a hold of some tickets, head on over to Epic Center Festival. That's just with one C. If you put 2 C's in there, you will get a weird redirect. You won't get anything. So make sure when you're typing it in, it's just 1 C. EpicCenterFestivals.com, and you'll be able to see the ticket info and all that. A couple has sold out, but they still got a lot more to sell out. So check that out when you get a chance. That's going to be fantastic. And also, rest in peace to former TNA knockout BellaDonna, real name Roxanne Biggerstaff. She passed away last week, apparently. Cause of death unknown right now. She died, get this, at the age of 40. It's pretty damn young. You guys that know your hardcore TNA days, she was a valet for the Disciples of the New Church stable. We're talking 2002-ish. She wrestled only one match in the NWA TNA era. It was at the NWA Total Nonstop Action pay-per-view number 24, December 4th, 2002. It was a handicap bull rope match against America's Most Wanted, James Storm and Chris Harris. As far as how this news initially had broke out, it came via Facebook, and her former stablemate Slash, Wolfie D, he had revealed it, and also her sister had launched a GoFundMe campaign to help out with the expenses as far as funeral costs and all that. And they're very close to meeting their goal. I normally do not promote GoFundMe pages, things of that nature, not unless I personally check it out myself and I get a sincere good vibe from it. I definitely would encourage you all to donate whatever you can, and if you cannot donate, you can do the next best thing, and you can actually share that link all throughout social media. They're very close to reaching their goal. And look, it's not a situation where, oh well, we ain't got, what they're asking for is not astronomical. It is a lowball figure. They were only trying to raise $3,000, and at the time of this recording right now, they're at $2,795. So they need about a little less than $300 more dollars. So if you guys can definitely donate, I would right now, but I've got a wedding to prep for. Going to be returning to AwesomeCon later this year, so I am, as far as expenses go, tied up. But I'll definitely be sharing this link myself. But I will actually, for those of you that may be a little bit curious about that link I was talking about, on our Discord, I'll actually share that. And if you're following me on Twitter and Facebook, I'll actually have it available shortly after the show is over. But for you guys in Discord, hi to you guys, by the way, in Discord. Shout out to Cody. Just trying to see who else is in there. I think we got the usual suspects that's in Discord tonight. So you guys in Discord, there's the link for you all, in case you want to share that. And let's keep rocking and rolling. Did you guys hear what went down with New Japan Pro Wrestling? Well, apparently New Japan Pro Wrestling, they have been affected, sadly, by the government shutdown. And that's great that, as it stands now, everybody is back to work. That's great. That's an entirely different topic for another show, Wrestling with the Topics. But apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, and not only Dave Meltzer, but you also had one of the top heads at New Japan Pro Wrestling, they had spoke upon that apparently they had tried to get visa clearances for some of their Japanese talents to come work the shows in the U.S. They filed the paperwork back in November. And sadly, with the government shutdown, a lot of those Japanese talents, I won't say a lot, all of them, were sadly not able to get cleared in time so that they could make these U.S. events. So when you see the latest rounds of New Japan Pro Wrestling events happening in the United States, and you see a lot of American names, because it had a lot of people going, hey, what the hell is going on here? I won't say it was an uproar type of situation, but it was definitely a case of, wait a minute, where's the Japanese talents? What's going on here? That's what's been going on, so it's unfortunate. But I will say this with regards to the government shutdown. I said it last week when we did the Pro Wrestling Crate unveiling for the January goodies, which was awesome. That is, during these turbulent times of the government shutdown, it was really awesome to see the act of generosity, the act of kindness, the act of charity being passed around. It was a beautiful thing. So many establishments were letting people eat for free. You had many grocery stores that were giving away groceries to furloughed workers. Utility companies were more than willing. They went above and beyond to help those affected by the government shutdown. So many great acts of charity. I really love seeing how everybody just came together, and this is as far as I'll go, because I'll save the rest for Wrestling with the Topics. But I wish that we could come together more often. I wish that it didn't have to be kind of somewhat sad events like this. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. Also, got some XFL news for you guys. Looks like the XFL announced that Jeffrey Pollock has been named the president-in-chief. I said Pollock. Is it Pollock or Polak? I'm going to say Polak, because if it's Pollock, I laugh because if you ever watched All in the Family, you usually have Archie Bunker. He would be walking around, and yeah, he would call Mike a meathead, but he would also call him a dumb Pollock. So that's why I chuckled right there. I'm hoping that's Polak, but he's been named the president and chief operating officer of the league, and some very interesting history that this guy has. He was previously the chief marketing and strategy officer and special advisor for the Los Angeles Chargers in the NFL. So that's pretty good. But look, what the XFL can do for me and everybody else that's interested in going to these games the second go round, what's up with the prices? We need to know what's going on with the prices, because they said to us with that initial press conference that, the tickets, they're going to be affordable. Everybody's going to be able to go to these games. You're not going to have to break the bank like with the NFL. I tell you what, after what had went down with that Saints and Rams game, I need to see the XFL capitalize on that and truly define what's a catch, what is illegal. You know, hey, that's a foul. We're going to throw out the flag. So controversial, that game. Congrats in advance to the New England Patriots, by the way. We already know that's pretty much a gimme. Stranger things have happened, but by the way, WWE, they're going to be doing halftime heat. I am so freaking stoked for that. We didn't even talk about it on the Royal Rumble after show. I was so blown that I had totally forgot about that. But yeah, I like the video package that they did as they took a nice freaking massive dump on freaking Maroon 5. I can't stand Maroon 5. I can't stand those guys. Everything. I don't like them. I just don't. I don't care for their music. You know. Now, what Bruno Mars did that one year, I was fine with that. That was actually pretty badass. What Beyonce did, all that was good. But it's the return of halftime heat during the Super Bowl halftime show. We're going to get a cool-ass match. This is going to be streaming throughout all social media platforms, even on the WWE Network. It's going to be Ricochet teaming up with Aleister Black and the Velveteen Dream to take on Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole, baby! So I'm looking forward to that. That should be really cool. You know what? Leading up to it, I think maybe we'll do something kind of cool for you guys. Maybe every other day leading up to this event. Maybe we'll revisit the other WWE halftime heat shows. I think that would be kind of cool. Go down memory lane for you all. Couple other topics get into before we get ready to wrap it up for tonight. Let me just see how we're doing on Showtime here. I think we're doing pretty good, actually. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. I'm seeing we've only been recording for about an hour, 19 minutes right now. So that ain't too shabby. Speedy recovery to Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin, as you all know, at a recent TV tapings for Ring of Honor, he actually has suffered an injury, had to be helped to the back. Well, it's been revealed that he has a complete torn ACL. He's getting surgery very, very soon. He's going to be out for 8 to 12 months. You heard me right, 8 to 12 months. So a speedy recovery to him. And while we're also talking about speedy recoveries and all that, if I'm not mistaken, Evan Bourne, he actually is injured as well. We had talked about him off and on the past couple of weeks, but he's going to be getting surgery as well. And I believe it's not a torn ACL. Matt Sydal, I'm thinking Evan Bourne, Matt Sydal. He's going to be undergoing surgery to repair a torn cartilage in his knee this week. So I'm not really sure how long he's going to be out, but speedy recovery to both of those guys. That's just, that sucks, man. Big time. Sucks big time. If you guys haven't already, check out WOW, Women of Wrestling. I love that show. It is phenomenal. I talked about it last week. I see it's been getting a little bit more traction. I can't stress it enough. If you have Access TV, Friday nights, that's where you want to be, especially if you love pro wrestling. You get a nice hour block of New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you've never seen it before, now is more than ever of a opportunity, a good opportunity at that, to broaden your horizons a little bit and see what's going on. After that goes off, you get WOW, and then you get Access TV fights for about, I think, 2 hours, kind of like what Bellator is doing on the Paramount Network. You can't beat that Friday night block. It's really good stuff. I only watched half of the second episode for WOW because I was tied up with some side projects, but I'm actually going to talk a lot more about that on a side little extra piece of the RCWR show. We'll probably do a YouTube exclusive for that one. Matt Morgan, he is coming out of retirement one last time. This is the last time. He's doing it for charity. It's going to be happening at Ritter Park in Longwood, Florida on March 16th. He said, and I quote, "I'm coming out of retirement for one last match as we look to raise money where 100% of the proceeds will go to our Lyman High School football team, our only high school in the city." Yes, their only high school in the city, to get them anti-concussion helmets. I found out we were the only team in the league that don't have them. So I'm not going to charge admission. We're just going to ask for a suggested donation. So anything that you're able to afford, I mean, it's going to a very worthy cause. And as we all know, with all the recent medical reports that have shown what's been happening with some of these players, and, you know, concussion, CTE, and the extent of brain trauma, brain damage, and all that from those hard hits, to hear that those kids are playing without that type of equipment, yeah, I think that's going to do very, very well, their respected event. And kudos to John Cena. John Cena just keeps coming in with the hits, man. He has signed up with Netflix to star in a comedy original. And it's untitled right now, but it's going to be directed by Jason Bateman, who will also appear in the comedy. Mark Perez, who wrote Bateman's 2018 Game Night, is going to be penning the project. The synopsis follows a family that gets stuck in an old abandoned movie studio when the set comes to life and the family members find themselves stuck in various movies. I homed in on that and I went, sounds like kind of the Jumanji movie that just came out, but more so Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I like the concept. I'm a bit sold on it. I just need to see a trailer or something. So, but shout out to John Cena. And I saw a question that was asked via Discord and on YouTube. What happened with John Cena? Why was he not at the Rumble? And I think it was Steven that maybe had asked the question. Steve, if you're listening, reason why Cena was not there is movie engagements, movie commitments. That's pretty much the deal. He is not injured. That's just the storyline that WWE had spun. But the way things are looking right now, we may kind of have an idea of the future for John Cena. If he were to get involved in WrestleMania, he could be facing Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre hinted in a recent interview that of all the opponents he would like to face at WrestleMania this year, John Cena is one that he would love to work with. He's already talked about how the history is already there and seeds have been planted. So honestly, I will have no problem with McIntyre taking on Cena. I'm not sure about you all, but Tuesday, January 29th, 2019. So we've heard the rumblings about Dean Ambrose leaving the WWE. Yes, Dean Ambrose leaving WWE, but as of 5 p.m. Eastern, officially WWE has released a statement confirming that Dean Ambrose, real name Jonathan David Good, will in fact be leaving the company after his contract expires April of this year. Yes, I wish I was pulling you all's leg right now. I wish I was trolling you all. But when you go on WWE's website, now it's on the home page, but WWE has not plastered it as far as, look at this big splash page image. You basically, at the time right now that we're recording this, you basically see the image of Brock Lesnar F5ing Seth Rollins. And then right up under that, you see Becky Lynch challenging Ronda Rousey. The next image, you see Seth Rollins fighting Dean Ambrose, as that was a match that had began earlier in the night. And you see another image where it's highlighting Natty teaming up with Dana Brooke to face Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. And right up under that, you see trending WWE news. And the very first thing that you see is 4 little small thumbnails. But the very first one is full details on Dean Ambrose's future in WWE. Now, WWE would release this statement. I'll read it to you all. And afterwards, I will give my candid thoughts with regards to this situation. But WWE says, and I quote, Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good will not be renewing his contract with WWE when it expires in April. We are grateful and appreciative of all that Dean has given to WWE and our fans. We wish him well and hope that one day Dean will return to WWE. So there you have it. I have to say, this is unprecedented. As long as I have been a wrestling fan, as long as, like many of you all out there have made the rounds, checking out what's going on with the WWE.com website, looking for fun little tidbits of news, checking out exclusive videos, things of that nature. In the past, we have heard of WWE has come to terms on the release of XYZ. We have always been in a position where we've heard rumblings that, hey, this talent may be signing on with the WWE, or this talent may be leaving the company when their contract expires with WWE. But we have never, ever heard of WWE confirming the rumors that are out there. And so the fact that this has been out there in the open and it's been on the tip of the tongue of many podcasters, vloggers, websites, etc. And for WWE to officially put this statement out there, you just go, wow, what the hell? Now, let's rewind it back just a little bit. You had reports that were initially put out there leading up to this that apparently over the Royal Rumble weekend, Dean Ambrose had met one-on-one with the chairman, Vince McMahon, and expressed to him, hey, I'm not going to be renewing with you guys. And they offered him a lot of money, from what I understand, basically reacting to the news that came about, right? Same information that you all had access. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to take what's being put out there with a grain of salt, but you kind of almost, through process of elimination and just doing some deep soul searching, would have to feel in your bones that, this feels legit. This feels the right way that it's going. Nothing feels fabricated. Nothing feels misleading. But until we hear it from the horse's mouth, all right, we'll take it for what it's worth. But supposedly he met with Vince McMahon, told him that he was not going to be renewing with the company, despite the fact that they wanted to lock him up for 5 years. The money was said to be really, really good. But Dean Ambrose shot it down. And one of the main reasons why he shot this deal down is because creatively, he has just been frustrated with the direction of his character. He doesn't like the hokiness, the wacky crap that's been happening with his character. And at the end of the day, I totally look, I'm not going to tell somebody what they need to do with their lives, much like I don't like somebody to tell me what I need to do with my life. It's one thing if you're a very close friend of mine or you're a family member and I'm tight with you like that and I value your opinion, I respect the hell out of you. That's one thing, right? Then I'm going to listen. But just to have all of this out there about Dean, I just can't help but feel for the guy, but at the same time give him mad respect. Apparently, Dean Ambrose told only a close handful of friends, his immediate inner circle, that he knew was not going to be going out to the websites and the podcasts, putting this information out there, and told them what his move was going to be, as eventually he would have that one-on-one meeting with Vince McMahon. And this is where we stand right now. And now that this information is out there, you can't help but wonder, going to the road of WrestleMania, just how exactly is Dean Ambrose going to be given his swan song. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a hot second. I'll definitely tease it a little bit, but we'll see how far along we go with this. Now look, I have been paying attention to the work of Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good, for a good minute now. I've seen a little bit of his stuff, Heartland Wrestling Association, Definitely seen his work in CZW, in Ring of Honor for a hot little bit. He also did a little bit of stuff for Full Impact Pro. So I'm very familiar. And of course, we all infamously know this guy as Jon Moxley on the free agency market, the independent free agency, right? We know him on the independents. So I remember when I first heard that Dean Ambrose was coming on board to the WWE. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. This is going to be great. He signed a developmental deal. Sweet. This is going to be badass. And I know for a fact that if we were to poll you guys from way back when he joined the WWE, and basically it was he, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and they came up as the Shield, I bet if we polled you all right now, a lot of you all back then, when you saw those three, we were to poll you guys now and ask you, hey, what did you think when you first saw the three of these guys back when they were doing the early incarnation of the Shield? Out of those three, who did you think was going to be the most successful of the trio when eventually they were going to break off into singles runs? You knew it was going to be happening. Good looking guys. Nice chemistry that seems to be going on. Every single one of these guys has their own unique personality that they put out there in which the fans can connect with so well. Which one of these guys do you think is going to be that bona fide star? And I remember vividly myself, coworkers, colleagues, friends at the time, early Shield, we'd look and we'd say, oh, well, I'm telling you, that Dean Ambrose, he looks like he's definitely going to be going places. And for a lot of us, we judge and came to that assumption just from what we saw of his work prior to WWE. So there were definitely a lot of us, myself included at the very top of that list, that was expecting very big things for Dean Ambrose in the WWE. Second place would go to Roman Reigns as far as, okay, well, who's going to be the odd man out? Who's going to be ice cold? Who's maybe ultimately, you're better in a tag team, honestly. But it may be a situation where you could possibly get a pink slip. Seth Rollins, there were a lot of people that felt that way back when. Might be a little bit crazy to hear for you newer fans, but that's how a lot of us were looking at it back then when it came to evaluating the trio early on. And yeah, granted, Dean Ambrose, he became a WWE champion. He won an Intercontinental title, won the tag belts on 2 occasions, but when it's all said and done, everything has felt very lackluster during his tenure in the WWE. Yeah, his greatest moment was definitely when he was with the Shield. And then when he broke away from that and he started doing the whole Dean Ambrose, the insane asylum, it was, okay, so he is supposed to kind of like be this loose cannon. Remember, early on, they made the references to the late loose cannon, Brian Pillman. And by the way, his son is doing a phenomenal job in continuing that legacy. I gotta say, he's doing a phenomenal job. Best of luck to you, young man. But Dean Ambrose doing that whole loose cannon, he's crazy and all that. He really was not quite living up to what we saw of him before WWE. Now look, if you were to ask me straight up, hey Lee, what do you want to see? Look, I'm not saying give me exactly the guy that I saw on the Independents. I don't want to see that guy and putting himself in serious harm's way and risking injury. I don't want to see that guy. That is just too crazy, right? And that would just be too squirmish for a WWE audience. But if we can somehow get that character back just in the realm of the WWE universe, push the envelope without crossing that line, but just do enough to make it very entertaining, very captivating, very mesmerizing. Fans will be eating it up. I thought for sure that amongst all of the writers that the WWE has, amongst all of the creative talents that's there at the disposal of the McMahon family, that it was possible to get this young man where he needed to be. And sadly, we saw with that early incarnation of the loose cannon, it just really wasn't going anywhere. I would have to say one of the moments that I started to cringe and just go, yeah, this whole loose cannon, it ain't going anywhere. I remember there was an infamous episode. I don't know if it was Raw or SmackDown, but I remember there was one infamous episode where he was talking to a mop. And it was shades of Perry Saturn. And I just thought it was the most stupidest goddamn thing I saw in my entire life. And I was not picking up oh my God, this guy is crazy. He is cray-cray. Watch out. He's a dangerous man. You don't want to get around him because he might just bite you. I wasn't getting that vibe whatsoever from Dean Ambrose. Instead, I was getting this very quirky, well, look at me, I'm the cool guy with the shaggy hair in the stubble, and I'm gonna do these weird things where I'm gonna talk to a mop, and I'm gonna talk to an imaginary friend, and I have a leather jacket, and this cool pair of jeans. I want you to look at me as a badass. It was, wait a minute, huh? And then the other thing that really sealed the deal for me, and I'm sure this is on the tip of the tongue of many, many fans, the infamous Stone Cold podcast episode on the WWE network of which Dean Ambrose had appeared. He was the WWE champion. And you want to talk about, all right, young man, the spotlight is now on you. You're the man. You have been given the opportunity. You've been given the ball. You are representing the company. Let's see what you can do with this. Make it happen. And boy, I tell you, if ever there was an interview that I could just go back and look at and just approach it from a PR standpoint, just approach it from a media standpoint as far as the do's and the don'ts, I would use that Dean Ambrose Stone Cold podcast interview, episode, whatever you want to call it. I would use that to encourage up and coming talents. Here, these are the do's and don'ts. Take notes. And we just watched Dean Ambrose crumble right before our very eyes. You all remember the awkward promo that he had cut on Stone Cold? And Stone Cold is looking on at this young man as if, of all the promos you could cut, son, that is the best one that you can come up with. And remember, Stone Cold was saying to Dean, give me your best promo. Go ahead. Give me your best shot. And you were like, oh my God, really? This is the best that Dean can do? Seriously? That did more harm to him than good. And the thing that we need to remember is when the Stone Cold podcast was airing, at that point, it was live. That's the other thing that you guys need to remember. So for those of you that may be saying, well, how could this pass? How was this able to get on the network without them doing some serious editing, without Vince McMahon saying, hey, no, we're not going to let this go because it's making Dean look like so-and-so? Well, back then, the Stone Cold podcast came on live after key pay-per-views, after key episodes of Raw. And in this particular instance, it came on live. And I remember we did the podcast, I want to say that very night. As a matter of fact, you should be able to find it on the YouTube channel and just type RCWR Show, Stone Cold Podcast, Dean Ambrose, and you should be able to find a review that way. And I remember I was not that kind of how that interview was conducted, and that pretty much shortly afterwards, I think one of the last Stone Cold Podcast episodes that Steve Austin did was something involving Paige. And I want to say maybe that was it. I remember there was a Brock Lesnar, there was a Paige, but I think that was it. They basically tried to give Steve Austin more safer cats to interview. And I remember myself and many other colleagues, we said, you know what? That is the episode that was the kiss of death for Dean Ambrose. As far as him being a WWE champion goes, that is it for him. Sorry, folks. And I remember there were so many of us that was catching heat. There were a lot of fans that were, oh, you guys, you're overreacting. You're being too oversensitive about this. You guys are just being assholes. And, last thing that I can't speak for my other colleagues, but the last thing I want is to see a situation where somebody that I have a lot of respect for and you have a lot of respect for, the last thing I want to see is them get a D-push, if you want to call it that, or, all right, you're no longer the champion because whatever, right? That's the last thing I want to see. But at the same time, what I offer when I talk about a wrestler, it's never anything personal. Never. Anytime I have some type of constructive criticism about a wrestler, it is never about what is going on in their personal life, unless it's something extreme like what went down with the Hulkster or Jimmy Snuka. Unless it's something like that, 99.9% of the time, I am particularly homing in on what's going on with that talent in the ring, what I'm seeing of them on TV, pay-per-view events, all that jazz. So for me, it's never personal. I always just speak upon things from a business standpoint. And for me, that was the kiss of death, what we saw. And you saw shortly after that, he did lose the WWE Championship. And it just seemed as though Dean has just kind of just been there, just been floating there. And yeah, you could pretty much say he's been a slightly upper mid-carder at best, won the United States title there a couple of times. Also got to make sure we slide that in there. But it seemed as though his greatest claim to fame was what he did with the Shield. And what probably should have been a blessing for him in disguise was when he got injured. A lot of us were under the impression, okay, well, you know what? That injury that Dean Ambrose has sustained, oh man, that's pretty bad. Okay, he's going to be out for a little bit, but you know what? Even though he's now gone for a little bit, hey, he's going to be able to use this time and he's going to be able to rest up, get in the best shape humanly possible. Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I believe he was dealing with some type of a elbow injury, some type of a shoulder injury of that nature. So he was gone for a little bit. And I know I felt very optimistic about him because I said, okay, this is a blessing in disguise because he's been exposed so much that, it's kind of hard to freshen him up a little bit. So, all right, this injury happening. Okay, this is actually a good thing that WWE can use to their advantage and help refreshen his character a little bit, repackage him a little bit, and we'll see what happens from there. But this is a great opportunity for it to go down. So, he's gone for a series of months. And then by the time he comes back, remember, this is after spending about nearly 9 months recovering from an injury that kept him off TV. We finally see him come back. And when we first see him, we're thinking, oh, Triple H. He had to do a double take. And oh, that's actually Dean Ambrose. Dean is back. He's ripped. He's in the best shape of his entire professional wrestling career. The best shape possible. This guy looks like $1 million. And you're like, okay. And you had that period where for several weeks he was not talking. There was some type of a mystique that was going on with him. And when you looked in his eyes, he looked as though he was ready to snap at any moment. And I was very intrigued with what was going to be happening with that Dean Ambrose. I wanted to know what's going on. What's going on with Dean? Why isn't he talking? What's up? And that was a good running gag for a couple of weeks. And then they finally started having him say a little something here and there. And then eventually it was, back to the usual Dean Ambrose. And it was, Come on now. And then to make matters worse, you hurt this guy even more by giving him the most look, on paper, it may sound good, but as far as the execution, and this is what I don't understand. What may sound good on paper, and I would just love to know this from either current WWE superstars or former WWE superstars. When there is talk about tweaking your character, do they give you time to rehearse for a couple of weeks? Because I'm looking at how eventually Dean became Bane Ambrose. I can't help but wonder, okay, so when was this decision made? And when did Dean know about it? And did Dean have enough of an opportunity to try and find his way into this new gimmick? Was he making suggestions as well on how they can try to improve upon it even more? What's the 411? Because here we have the situation where he comes out with this ridiculous mask and he's talking much like Batman to Bane. Gotham is yours. It belongs to you, the people. You know, he's talking like that, and you're going, my God, take the fucking mask off, dude. It was the stupidest thing. Make matters worse, you give him the most ridiculous entrance, right? You got the freaking fire alarms going off, and I don't know if I need to grab my personal belongings and make sure my phone is on me, because apparently there's a fire and we need to evacuate the arena ASAP and get outside to safety or what. And then you hear the freaking music after the sirens go off a couple of times. You go, oh, that's actually somebody's intro? Why? Why is that somebody's intro? The last little glimmer of hope, when he attacked Seth Rollins the night that they had won the tag titles on that infamous episode of Raw, Roman Reigns announced that he had leukemia. You know, everything leading up to the Bane Ambrose. We thought for sure that with that crazy look in Dean Ambrose's eyes, the fact that he really wasn't talking like that, and when he attacked Seth Rollins, that for a lot of us, we were really pushing hard. We thought that was it. That was like a magical moment that would just propel Dean to that next level. But they started to have cracks in the foundation as far as, okay, Dean, why did you do what you do? Why did you attack your fellow brother? And all of that was just very, very shaking, even leading up to, you know, what is it? They faced off this go around, what, like twice or something like that? I know the one match that they had where Seth Rollins was apologizing, that was a shit match. And that was mainly a shit match because it should have been a brawl. It should never had been a wrestling match where they're trying to be technical with each other, right? If this guy has hurt you that bad, and you've been demanding answers, and every single time this dude has gotten an opportunity, he has owned your ass from behind or whatever. He's been playing mind games, whatever. At this point, as soon as he is across from you in the ring, you're ready to get your hands on him and choke him the hell out. For real? Right? So, the fact that the match didn't even play out the way that it was supposed to, just all of these things culminate into what we have going on right now. I appreciate WWE trying to get Renee Young involved, but, you know, every single time you turn around week after week, Corey Graves, Michael Cole, well, Renee, you know him very well. What's going on? And Renee's just, I don't know. I was on this very show after she said that for possibly the 5th consecutive week. And I said, WWE, look, from a creative standpoint, we know that Renee Young and Dean Ambrose are married. You all acknowledged it some months back. Okay, so it's okay to say the M word. You all are acting like you're trying to dodge saying the K word, kill, right? It's okay to say the word married. But don't have Renee Young be out there looking like some goof. I don't know. Just one time, have her say, hey, I had a personal talk with Dean, and there is one rule. There's a few, but it's a short list, just a handful. But at the very top, when it comes to his business in the ring, we do not talk about that. We do not talk about what's going on with his beef with whomever. When we are on our personal time away from WWE, it is just all about us. It's all about the family. That's it. So I try, trust me guys, I try to pry, but I can't get anything out of him. I wish I had something for you guys, but he just won't go there with me. You know, if I had any more I could tell you, trust me, I definitely would. Sometimes I kind of can't help but wonder if she might have been able to help him a little bit more by possibly being a valet or something of that nature, you know. So it's very, very sad how everything has just culminated to where it is right now. And I've always been a firm believer that when it comes to what the creative department, the writers are able to do for that superstar, the creative has 50% of the responsibility, right? And the other 50% is on that talent to go out there and execute it as best as humanly possible. Now, Dean Ambrose had revealed a little something during that Stone Cold interview, which lets you know what's going on with the WWE. And it's been a recurring theme over the years from talents that have worked there, and they're working in other promotions, some as we speak right now, which is, hey, no, WWE, they've got you reading these pages upon pages. Everything is very restricted. You can't just go out there and you can't just let the paint hit the canvas and just see what you can make out of it. No, it doesn't operate that way, sadly. And you hear so many people talk about, hey, it's great working at ROH or New Japan or at Impact Wrestling because the creative freedom, I'm allowed to go out there, be myself, I can explore. And that's one thing that Dean Ambrose did home in on with his conversation with Austin, which is, hey, I hear the fans, trust me, I understand, but my hands are tied. There's only but so much I can do. What was the infamous sentence that he said during the Stone Cold podcast? I am in a sandbox playing with somebody else's toys. I believe that's the phrasing that he used. Somebody can definitely come on back and refresh my memory and everybody else with regards to that. But he pretty much was letting you know, hey, my hands are tied as far as how much I can say and do. So look, at the situation that we're at right now, as far as how things are possibly going to be ending with Dean Ambrose, I would like to believe that it could be a situation where maybe, just maybe, I'm going out on a limb here, but based on what we saw from Monday Night Raw, it's very well possible that Dean Ambrose could have a send-off at WrestleMania by losing at WrestleMania at the hands of Nia Jax. There's that part of me that believes, okay, well, if Dean is crazy and all of this other stuff, why do that spot with Nia Jax? Of everybody that you could have, right? Why would you have Nia Jax cross paths with Dean Ambrose like that? And then you have the WWE.com exclusive where they followed up with him. I forgot who the backstage interviewer was, but they basically were trying to get his thoughts on what had happened with his exchange with Nia Jax, and he pretty much had talked about how he almost lost his cool and he was about to fight her, but hey, you know, she's a woman. Why would he fight a woman or whatnot, right? So that right there, it could be a storyline because you just look at the way everything was set up from Monday Night Raw so far, right? And we're getting ready to go into SmackDown. Okay, so look, from the Raw side, we know that Brock Lesnar is going to be fighting Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. We know that the way it's looking right now, it's safe to say that Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre may possibly have a tag team match against Braun Strowman and Kurt Angle. Looks like it really could go down that way. Elias, that's a wild card, but I hope that what was going on with Jeff Jarrett was a one-time deal, because if not, it's potentially looking as though it could be Jeff Jarrett facing Elias, and I'm really hoping it does not go in that direction, because as much as I appreciate Jeff Jarrett, I've had him on the show a couple of times. He's always been a great guest. I do appreciate the positive contributions that he's made to the business. I do recognize there was some bad, but I do recognize the positives that he did bring into the industry, let alone TNA, all the way up to what it is today, give or take. There is also that part of me that does not want to see him in a match against Elias. I just feel that it is, sadly, there's not that many people that's going to be able to really register with that Jeff Jarrett. Not that version. The diehards maybe, but if it was a situation where we're getting Jeff Jarrett, we're getting the guy that is responsible for AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and others being in the WWE because of what he was able to do with TNA. And there's no problem with recognizing TNA because TNA is no more. Now it's just Impact Wrestling. So if you were to go maybe in that direction, then okay, I would say you have a little something there. But if we're just going to keep getting the JARRETT, Jeff Jarrett, if we're just going to keep getting that with My Baby Tonight, some song from the 90s, then that's not really going to be enough to entice people. People are going to be sitting on their hands at WrestleMania, patiently waiting until the match is over, right? So unless you don't go with Ambrose taking on Nia, right, for your first ever intergender match in the WWE in modern time, unless you're not going to go in that direction, could you maybe have Elias face Dean Ambrose at Mania? You could definitely go in that direction. So there's a lot that's going to be going on. I wish it could be a situation where, since this guy is on his way out the door, I really would love if he could kind of have a CM Punk moment and really just cut loose, really just be himself and given total free creative control and just have fun, go out there and see what sticks and all that. But I just don't feel WWE is going to be going that route, because all of those responsibilities to the sponsors, and they're trying very hard to be a family-oriented program these days. They really aren't that keen on pushing the envelope a little bit. Maybe for pay-per-views is one thing, but to really try to push that envelope on TV, I sadly just don't see that really happening of the magnitude that we would like. And it's so interesting, too, because when you really stop and think about the whole infamous pipe bomb, WWE was years removed being a publicly traded company, already trying to reach out to key demographics, trying to be a little bit family oriented or whatnot. But there was a certain aura, there was a certain mystique that CM Punk was able to bring, where not only did he have the hardcore wrestling fans locked in, but those casuals. He had those casual wrestling fans coming to check him out every single damn week. And I gotta admit, early on, when I first had looked at Dean Ambrose, I thought maybe he could kind of follow in those footsteps of a Punk. And it has been disappointing what's been happening with him so far. And look, I already know we're going to have a boatload of people that's going to be saying, oh, well, as far as where's he going to go now? Look, I'm not going to focus on all that. I just can say at this point, any promotion that is fortunate enough to acquire his services, it's going to be very good for their respected business. Because despite all the stuff that's been going on during his tenure in the WWE, he is still a good commodity. He still has a large fan base that's going to be following him, seeing everything that he does. Okay. So it really doesn't matter to me which promotion he hooks up with. I think if he's going to continue to get into this whole world of professional wrestling, and I feel that he is. I mean, look, he spent 9 months rehabbing, getting in the best shape of his life. I have a feeling that we have not seen the last of Jonathan in the ring. He will be wrestling elsewhere. But where that's going to be, only time will tell. But he has my respect, because here's a situation where, and I need to stress utmost respect, because here's a situation where this guy could easily, okay, I'm getting how much money? Okay. Hey, it's financial security. It's stability. I can plan my life better with my wife. Hey, if we want to have some kids, no problem. I mean, he's coughing all of that up. Think about that. That speaks volumes. He is saying, forget just being complacent, falling in line, and just, no, I want more than this. There's got to be more to life than just this. So he has my utmost respect for jumping out there like that. If we thought that maybe what we were hearing was just rumblings or rumor, maybe we're going to get a swerve for WWE to just basically take command of this and put this on out there. Wow, is all I have to say. And of course, we got the rumblings as far as the Hall of Fame. I kind of teased we were going to get into that, but I'm actually going to hold off for now. We'll make that another YouTube exclusive, because there's so many twists and turns we can go with the Hall of Fame. I want to just have that be a dedicated piece that we can get everybody involved in at the same time, because when we get ready to do that, I do want to make that be as interactive as possible. We'll try to make that be the most open forum that it could possibly be. And shout out to Roman Reigns. I said Showman. Shout out to Roman Reigns. It's a tongue twister when you say shout out to Roman Reigns. You go, Showman. Showman. But no, seriously, shout out to Roman Reigns. He is doing pretty damn good with his leukemia battle. We've been seeing some new pictures of him resurfacing, and he looks to be in good spirits. Hasn't really lost any weight, still looks very recognizable. He is just doing it really good. He's getting his rest and relaxation, doing his chemo and all that. He is starring in a new Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie, Hobbs and Shaw, basically playing off of the Hobbs character that The Rock had played in the Fast and Furious franchise. So this is basically a prequel, if you will. And true story, The Rock recently revealed that freaking Jason Momoa, Aquaman himself, was this close to co-starring in the movie. He originally was gonna play Hobbs' brother in the movie, and they both wanted to do it. They were trying to do their best to make it work, but Jason's schedule was so tight, he just could not do it. So Dwayne thought, okay, well, let me go with the next best thing. Let me call up a family member, and that's how Roman Reigns had got the spot. So that's really good to hear. So this could be the beginning of another door opening up for Roman Reigns. I mean, look, when it's all said and done, we get those two guys confused all the freaking time for the most part, to a degree. They definitely look very similar. They look as though they could be twin brothers, damn sure brothers. So the fact that it's now just taking Roman Reigns this long to get that big break, hey, I just like the fact that the break is happening and it's coming courtesy of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm actually looking forward to that. More so than the Page movie, but that's a different story. I really hope I will enjoy the Page movie. I really do. And if not, at least it's a free movie, right? I mean, hey, can't really complain over something that is free when it's all said and done. So, other than that, I'm just trying to figure out if there's any other topics I wanted to get into on this episode. I know there is a trailer for the new Birds of Prey. If you even want to call it that, I kind of looked at it more like a teaser. I need to see a little bit more. I got to be honest with you guys, because I know that's going to be one question that some of you guys are going to be asking me is, Dave Lee, what did you think of the Birds of Prey? I can't really home in on anything right now. And for those of you that's going, Birds of Prey, what the hell are you talking about? So, the girl from the Suicide Squad movie, Margot Robbie, well, you know she's doing the Harley Race character once again, and she's doing it in a DC Comics original movie, Birds of Prey. And from what I saw, can I be blunt? Didn't do anything for me. So that's why I'm a little bit on the fence right now. I need to see a little bit more. It doesn't quite equal to what we got with Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. I'm actually more eagerly anticipating that as opposed to this Birds of Prey movie. I can't wait to see how that one plays out, and I have a feeling it's going to do phenomenally well, especially from the standpoint of, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people that's going to want to see Phoenix reprise his role as the Joker in future Batman films. But the question remains, can you have two Jokers coexist? Because you're going to have his version running around, and then you're going to have Jared Leto's version. So can you really pull off having two of them coexist in such fashion where fans won't be confused? That remains to be seen. So I don't know. Just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to get into on the show with you guys. I don't really think there is. Like I said, it's kind of been slow, and we just did about 90 minutes for you guys. So I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to stick a fork in it, and we're going to call it DONE done. Look, we did slam dunk of shows for you guys. We've got NXT TakeOver. If you didn't check out that after show, that's available on demand, on the downloads, all platforms. You got the Royal Rumble. Same thing. You got last week's show that we did with Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup. That was just a great back and forth. Real chill, laid back, fun episode. Scoop that up. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of cool content you can get into. As far as programming notes this week, like I said, as soon as I get home from seeing the new Page movie, I will do a special pre-recorded edition of the RCWR show, reviewing it. I don't know, I think we might actually dust off our 30 with Lee for that one, because usually when we do movies, we put it under our 30 with Lee tag. So I'll definitely give that to you guys, let you all know what I thought. And honestly, it's great to get that opportunity, because the movie is not supposed to be coming out everywhere until February 22nd. So to be able to get this early of a jump start to see the flick, I'm totally down with that. So we'll have that coming your way. And then also, we'll talk more about the Royal Rumble. That will be a RCWR Show YouTube exclusive. And what else? There's something else I wanted to get into. Oh, you may have noticed Impact Showdown did not surface last week. That's because with the Royal Rumble Takeover weekend, I just decided, okay, let me not burn myself out. Let me go on ahead and so I cut Impact Showdown for last week, but it will be back this Saturday. And in case you kind of missed the pattern, we don't release the episodes on Fridays because it makes no sense to release an episode late at night when Impact doesn't go off until midnight. And by that point, either everybody's ready to go to bed or maybe they're out with friends, whatever. So the pattern has been, it is released Saturday afternoons, early Saturday afternoon. So it will be back in rotation for you guys this coming weekend. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the great content that comes your way on a weekly basis. And if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't like the episode and you have some constructive criticism, some feedback you'd like to give, more than willing to listen. So do sound off once the comment section opens up to you guys. And until next go round, we'll definitely do this again for you guys on our regular day and time of Tuesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, as soon as SmackDown goes off the air. Till then, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords of the RCWR Show. Lee Sanders wishing all of y'all a very good night, good morning, and may the best news be yours. Adios!
Thanks for listening. An Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive.